Hey, what's up guys? I'm Jacob Kaufman, admin of the street, and today I am talking about the robotics competition that my school held today. So for 3 years now, my school has had a robotics team. And for the last 2 years, we have gone to the first robotics competition, which is run by the corporation called FIRST. But this year, due to limited resources, we downgraded to the VEX Robotics Competition. The reason I say downgraded is because the VEX Robotics Competition is not nearly as big of a deal as the first robotics competition. The first robotics competition, the company FIRST actually organizes all of the events, and they organize the tournaments, and you use industrial parts that are found in real-world robotics applications. The programming, you use industrial level programming that is found in real world applications, and it's a really good time. You've got limited time to get your bot together. My school, like I said, this year we didn't have the money or the time to participate in that, unfortunately. So the VEX competition, VEX Robotics Competition, run by the company VEX, it's a little bit smaller. It's open both to middle and high school, whereas the first robotics competition is only open to high school. The VEX Robotics Competition is actually organized by schools themselves. So schools have to organize their own tournaments, and then they can still send those tournament scores into VEX, and then VEX will coordinate like world championships and things, but regional events are run by schools. Now, unfortunately, a few months ago, the only school in the St. Louis area at all that was going to be hosting a VEX competition dropped out of the tournament. They said, nope, we can't do it. And that kind of threw a lot of schools for a loop. That was going to be an official VEX tournament. That was, obviously, it wasn't a championship. It was a regional event. But it was going to be official. So fast forward to a few months later, and my school today, using the equipment from that school that dropped out, we held an unofficial competition that was just for fun, just for schools in the St. Louis area to come in and try the robots out. And yeah, it was not an official VEX-approved event, but it went all right. So I took a few video clips just to show you what VEX robotics competitions are all about.
It's Saturday morning. It's about 6:30. This is the away package. This is all the stuff that I'll be taking with me this morning. I've got my programming laptop, my tripod, and my TV, which is not currently in use, and we're going to use that for a scoreboard. So these were just some skills challenges, what you're seeing now. And a skills challenge is basically one person on the field at a time, and it's giving them about a minute, little under a minute, just to show what they can do. So we're just giving them a chance to test out the robot before the actual tournament, and seeing, what they are capable of. The way that the VEX game was set up this year was the field is divided into 3 sections. There's just the normal section by the drivers, that's a nothing special section. There's the middle zone, and then there's the goal zone farthest away from the drivers. If a robot knocks balls into the middle zone, they get a certain amount of points per ball, and you get more points for big balls than you do for the buckyballs. And the goal zone, you get even more points if you knock balls into there. Now, there are 2 clear cylinders, or they're hexagonal prisms, I guess, that you can see on the far side there, which is actually closest to the camera. If you can put buckyballs inside of those, or put large balls on top of them, then you get even more points for those. And you'll see by the drivers those poles hanging in the air. What you can do on those is hang your robot, and if your robot can clasp onto those and lift itself up, then you get a ton of points for that too.
So what exactly are they supposed to do? They're just trying to score as many times as they can. You get the most points for getting things in a section closest to us. You get significantly less points for getting it in that middle section, and you get no points for anything all in that section with those bars. Okay. So now
the way that this works is those posts that the drivers are next to, that's actually part of the field control system. And if you see me there in the background, I'm running the computers for the field control system. What the field control system does is it plugs into the remote controller obviously, and then through there it tells the robot what to do. So unlike in the first competition, where the robots actually connect directly to the field control system, in the VEX setup, the remote control connects to the field control system, and then on the computer back there I can select, alright, run autonomous, or run driver control, or don't run at all, just disable. And I can also time it, and that's what I was doing back there. There's a timer running on the black laptop, and that is automatically starting and stopping the match for me, and it's telling the remote when to tell the robot to work and not to work. And on the lighter laptop back there, I'm running the Tournament Manager software, which is keeping track of all the team's scores, and right now this is a skills round, so this was just the highest score wins, but later we did actually have a tournament, and you'll see that in a bit. And that lighter laptop also has the timer on it, the timer that everyone sees on that TV there, as you can see. So I actually just had to click the start button on both timers at the same time, because those two timers, the timer on the screen and the timer that was controlling the field control system, were not actually connected in any way. But, you know, it worked. Nobody noticed the entire time except for those I told, obviously. So, yeah, there's an option to do the entire setup without a computer, and you can just have physical switches for autonomous and enable and disable. But, you know, the computer will time it for you and do everything, so that was really nice. So here's the laptop running Tournament Manager, and here's the laptop running the field control system, and that laptop is connected via a USB cord down to this controller, which is connected via Ethernet cables down to those driver stations there. So now we're actually in the tournament, and during the tournament, teams are grouped into alliances of 2, so it's a 2 versus 2 match, and the red team and the blue team are both trying to get points using their own colored balls. Now, the red team can push the blue team's balls back out of the goal zones, and vice versa, so it's really a different kind of match than just the skills challenge. It's also a bit longer.
Come on, Matt. Come on, Matt. Come on, Matthew.
There you go. Oh, she's making a clean sweep here.
Uh-oh.
Come on, red team.
Come on, Matt.
Put stuff and put it right down.
And this last one was the finals round, so I guess if there were to be a grouping of the best robots present, then this would be it.
See, you're not dead in the water. You just start. Not dead.
Come on, red team.
Just start keep going, Tanner. Tanner, do what I tried.
Come on, Brandon.
Now, some of the reasons I don't like VEX compared to the first robotics competition, in the VEX Robotics Competition, you are limited to VEX parts. VEX parts are very cheap. They're made for education. The first robotics competition, you use parts that are made for real world appliances, whereas in the VEX Robotics Competition, you use parts and programming that are made for education. So instead of using LabVIEW to program our robot, we used EasyC. The only other option would have been RobotC, which is another very, very basic programming language. Instead of using big industrial parts, we're using small parts. VEX makes all of the parts because you're not allowed to use non-VEX parts in VEX's competition. A lot of it is just like, screwed together with your fingers, like snap things together. Like it's not snapping together, but it's all pre-built, pre-made to fit together. And you're supposed to take these parts that are pre-made to fit together and make it into a unique robot. And VEX parts work well when you put them together following an instruction manual that was written by VEX. But when you're making your own design, the VEX robotics parts offer very, very little flexibility in what you can do. So as you can imagine, I am hoping that my school will go back to the first robotics competition next year. However, I was very impressed with the surrounding schools in this area. A lot of them participated in both the first robotics competition and our VEX robotics competition today. A lot of them were from technical schools that put very, very much time and effort into the robotics programs. So I was very impressed with the robots we saw today. So yeah, I was disappointed with the VEX competition through the entire process. Building, programming, running the competition itself. I was just generally disappointed at how small and how cheap everything was. However, it was an alright experience, and it was fun to meet with other schools around us that are also interested in robotics. So yeah, let us know in the comments down below or on the Nerd on the Street forums if your school participates in any robotics competitions. I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm Nerd on the Street, and I will see you guys later. See ya.